The best way you can support me is with a simple subscribe. Subscribe to my channel for more content like this. All right, Mr. TALIAFERRO TV, subscribe to my channel if you want more exclusive content. A Carmelo Anthony to Houston trade is becoming more and more unlikely, all right? This is what we know. Carmelo Anthony wasn't sold on Houston going into this offseason. The only thing that sold him on going to Houston, honestly, Carmelo wanted to stay in New York. But Phil literally kind of played his hand, and I guess he feels as though he has no choice or no other moves to make but leave New York, because that relationship has been broken so much by Phil Jackson before his departure. Phil literally came out and said maybe Melo should move on somewhere. Never forget that. So that relationship is in a bad state. And when you talk about Carmelo Anthony, he's somebody who's always been professional and loyal. He never badmouthed the Knicks when they probably deserved it. And Melo really wasn't checking for any other team up until it really got bad between him and Phil over the last few months, towards the end of the regular season and this off season. So Melo wanted to stay a Knick, but when Chris Paul got traded to Houston, we've been told from his people last couple weeks, it's been kind of switching up for Melo. Melo's been really feeling Houston. Ever since that CP3 trade happened a few weeks ago, he's been feeling the Houston Rockets. Melo wants to be a Houston Rocket as badly as he ever wanted to be traded. He wants out of New York, and he wants to be with Chris Paul and James Harden. That's what Melo wants more than anything right now. The problem is that trade's probably not going to happen, because if you're Houston, you got to give up something from a cap standpoint, because they're running out of money. They just gave James Harden the richest contract in NBA history. Chris Paul obviously is going to cash in next summer. Chris Paul still only has 1 year left on his deal. Never forget that. Chris Paul did not sign an extension in Houston. He only has 1 year remaining on his deal. They're going to have to pay Chris Paul next summer. And they still got Ryan Anderson under a big contract. So the Knicks would have to be willing to take on Ryan Anderson's contract, and they're just not going to do that. If you already got a Kristaps Porzingis, that's why they don't want Kevin Love. If they were going to do that, they would have just took Kevin Love and traded Melo to Cleveland a couple weeks ago. They don't want that four who just shoots and is unathletic and can't do anything else on the court. The too big to defend. The threes, too slow to stay on the perimeter. The Ryan Andersons and the Kevin Loves of the world, they can't really defend anybody down low. You got guys like Draymond Green, who, I mean, there's really nowhere you can put these guys on the court if you're really talking about building a contending team. And the Knicks already have to deal with Kristaps Porzingis and trying to make him into a good defender. He's better than Ryan Anderson and Kevin Love. He's 7'2", 7'3". But it's tough right now for New York. So when you put all that together, the Knicks ain't picking up Kevin Love or Ryan Anderson from Houston. So if that's the case, they're just going to hold on to Carmelo Anthony. They don't have to trade Melo. They don't have to trade him. He could be unhappy all he wants, but they can just keep him around. Porzingis loves Melo. Porzingis came out yesterday and said he wanted to be a Knick for the rest of his life. The Knicks are working on that relationship because Phil Jackson almost ruined that. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to trade Carmelo Anthony. And I think that's what's going to ruin him and his situation at the end of the day. Houston wants Melo. They understand. Harden and Chris Paul have reached out. They want Melo to be in Houston. Melo wants to be a Rocket now more than ever. But I don't believe that trade happens. I just don't believe, I just don't know how it happens. You would have to find a third team that could come in that will be willing to take Ryan Anderson. Some team that would need a shooter. That's limited right now. A lot of teams are not just one piece away from winning the championship who are willing to go in that luxury tax. So Ryan Anderson, he's getting a big contract. You're stuck with him. That's what's holding this thing up. And I believe in my heart of hearts, Melo is going to be a New York Knick going into the season. There's no way to get that money for him. And I think it sucks, but that's the situation. He'll be with the Knicks going into the season. Maybe they can trade him in February. I don't know. Melo got a couple years left on his deal. I don't know. All I know is the Houston Rockets don't have the pieces to get him right now. They can't find a team interested in doing it. Portland at one point was interested, but they want Melo themselves. So it's pretty much Melo will have no choice but to be a New York Knick at the end of the day. There's only so much you can do with Carmelo. He's only interested in going to Cleveland or Houston. He's not even interested in going to Cleveland anymore if it involves Kyrie in the trade. So he'll be a Knick going into this season, guys, unless something dramatically changed, which it could happen. Right now, it looks like Melo will be a Knick. The Houston Rockets can't find a team that's willing to take Ryan Anderson, and the Knicks don't want him. Talk to me in the comment box below. Where would you want Carmelo Anthony to be? Subscribe to my channel for more exclusive content like this. I'm out.
I want to salute you, homie, you know, for building your own thing and doing your own thing, creating your own platform, your own website.
I got one life to live out my dreams, and I'm giving this thing all I got. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I represent the culture.
Right now, you're turning up on MrTaliaferro.com, shawty.